Do you ever sit down to make music and feel like you have nothing left to say? Like you just keep making the same songs over and over again, and no matter how many new techniques and plugins you amass, you still find yourself stuck in a rut? If that's the case, stick around to the end of this video, because I'm going to show you 3 ways that you can get back into the warm and angelic embrace of pure and unabashed creativity. Hello and welcome back to another episode of TÄCHES. I'm Tash, and somehow I've managed to financially support myself by playing with sounds for the entirety of my adult life. I am fascinated by the concept of creativity, and I'm always looking for ways to make my job easier and more fun. Over my career, I have been no stranger to the pains of creative block, and so I decided to make it my mission to eradicate it from my life. I believe it is our individual duty as creatives to stay creative, and it is always up to us to put the art back in our heart. Shitty wordplay aside, let's jump right in. Number 1. Work with no sound. The basic premise of this technique is to work as quickly as you can without ever actually listening to what you're doing. When you remove the ability to hear, you'll be much less likely to judge what you're doing, and you'll end up instead making decisions based purely on instinct. Okay, for this technique, I'm going to mute the master output and turn down the audition volume on the browser so I can't hear anything that I'm doing. I'm going to very quickly just lay out a few sounds based off of whether I like the look of them. See, I like the look of that kick. That looks good. So we'll drag that in. Going to copy that across, make a 1 bar of kicks, and that. Didn't mean to bounce that, meant to consolidate that. So let's consolidate that, copy it across. Cool, so we got our kick. Now let's find a hat. Oh, that's quite cool. We got a little hat pattern there. I wasn't even looking for one of those. Let's slice that at onsets, quantize the shit out of it, roll the end off of all of them, make them all a bit shorter, copy that across, and we'll call that. Also, I want to move that forward a bit, put that there, roll that off. Okay, I'll copy that across. Let's call that hat loop 1. Let's find just a simple hi-hat. That looks alright. Let's put that on the offbeats. Thank you, Bitwig. You anticipated my movements. Don't know why I'm doing that. Well, I could just highlight and consolidate, drag that across. Cool, so offbeat hat. Let's find some sort of low tom. That could be alright. We'll throw that in there. Move that to here. Cut the beginning off. Move that there. Let's consolidate again. Brilliant. Copy that across a couple of times. Copy that across. Call that low tom. Make them all red. Again, to soothe my inner demons. Group them. Drums. Okay, let's look now for a couple of top loops. I like the look of that one. That looks good. So what I actually want is just that piece. That's speaking to my soul quite nicely. And I'm going to copy that every 4 bars. We'll call that hat effects. See if there's any cool looking tops. That could be alright. I'll take that. Might put that on 8th note preview on set. Copy that across. We'll call that top loop 1. Let's see if there's any cool percussion loops. That looks good. Actually, it doesn't. No, maybe this one. That could be alright. Why don't we put a filter on that, and we'll bring the resonance down, maybe put a steps on it, and make the steps control the filter opening, and we'll randomize that and smooth it out and copy that across. And we'll call that low end rumble, and we can put one of my sidechain devices, and that will be based off of my sidechain here. Boost that up a bit. So we'll put that in a group called bass. We'll put you guys in the drums folder. Make the bass orange. Okay, let's look for some music loops then. Let's search for A major, for example. Let's take this little A major 7 stab. And in fact, I'm going to put that on a sampler with an arpeggiator before it. And let's put key tracking on, and we'll put a C and a C above it, and a C above that. Stretch that out. Copy that for the duration of the bar. Maybe make it shorter and stabbier. Maybe bring the beginning in a bit. Let's look then for a bass in A major, or just A major, or bass A. See something there? That will do. Bass in A. We will put key tracking on again, and going to put C, which will be A, and G, which will be the equivalent of the 5th or 7th or whatever in A. Don't know what I'm talking about, but I know what I mean. So cool, we'll drag that out, and that can be bass pluck, and we can filter that and add an envelope, and that envelope can open up the filter. Let's make the attack short on that, and cool. We can put that in the bass group. We can make now this called ARP, and put that in the music group, make it blue. Let's see if there's anything else in A major that we like the look of, sound-wise or name-wise. Ooh, filtered marimba. That looks okay. I'm going to slice it onsets and quantize it, and then I'm going to copy across just that first part, because that looks quite good. Duplicate that. Cool. We can call that marimba. Slap a little bit of delay on there. Bit of detune. Put that in the music group, make it blue. Let's look for a shaker loop of some sort. Yeah, that looks alright. Slap that in. Maybe call that shaker. Turn that down a bit probably. Copy that across, make it red. Put it in the drum group. Okay, so now what we've done is we've laid out in some ways the basis of a track without having listened to it. So I could also then fade in the shaker over this amount of time. Maybe we don't need to have the offbeat hat straight away. Maybe this arpeggio could have, let's filter that in. Let's put a bit of envelope on that as well, opening it up, and the old classic. Let's bring the actual amount of that down a bit, because now we can add an automation lane for that ARP and bring up the filter frequency of that over this amount. Bring that up to 256, maybe take out some of the kicks here. Why don't we also look for some effects sounds? So that one looks alright. We'll have that as some sort of texture that builds up before the drop. Turn that down a bit. Maybe slice that at onsets. This looks cool. This alien whoosh. Let's cut that there and cut that there. Oh, let's just cut and reverse. And let's see if there's anything else in A major we can just throw in that we know. Maybe these bells, that could work. We could have that here. Maybe we could have the offbeat hat come out there and the percussion fade down. And the top loop could cut out there as well. And maybe then this marimba could filter in. We could automate that, show automation lane. Sorry, wrong one. Go to filter, frequency, and filter that in over some time. Bring that down. Okay, so what we've done is we have laid out the basis of a track without listening to it at all. If we now turn off mute and have a quick listen to what we've created, God knows if it's going to be good or not, but Now, the cool thing about this is that you could work for an hour on a track and do a finished arrangement, add all of the automation, all of the effects. You could add chord changes, and you could consolidate things and play things in and stuff. And if you don't hear what you're doing, there's never really a moment you get to where you go, wait, is this even good? You just keep working. And that is, I think, the way that it should be always anyway. You should just throw paint blobs on a canvas and just see where it takes you. What's quite cool as well is then after you having spent an hour programming things in without listening to it, you can go for a quick walk, come back, and then you can put on your analytical hat and you can listen through to it and say, like, okay, well, I quite like this. I think that hat sounds okay, but it's a bit loud. I don't really like that bell thing there. I could delete that. But you've got the basis of, especially if you work quite far, of a song that could potentially have a lot of promise. And obviously you've made all of those decisions based purely off of visual instinct rather than what you would usually do. So on that note, let's jump into the second technique. Number 2, make everything from just one recording. This technique is great because the contents of your source material is relatively unimportant. All you really need is for a piece of audio that looks good to the eyes and features a variety of sounds. Try recording yourself moving around the house, hitting things and making weird noises, or just leave your phone recording in your pocket next time you go out for a walk. Even the sound of the wind rustling over the microphone can be useful if you choose to see it as such. This kind of creative limitation will really make you think outside the box in how you then process that audio to get all of the sounds that you need from just one source. With an open mind, a 5-minute iPhone recording is all you really need to make music for an entire career. Okay, to demonstrate this technique, I'm going to use this recording I made at the main post office in Barcelona. There's all sorts of stuff happening here. Little transients, and there's the sound of a siren that goes off to let somebody know that they're next at the window. There's the sound of people dropping things. There's a lot of stuff in here. And I'm going to show you how you could use just this one sample to make an entire track. So, straight up, I absolutely love that little transient. So what I would do is I would go in and I would cut that, and I would put that on its own channel, and I would call that snare. So let's consolidate that, and we'll call that snare. Brilliant. That is just a great snare. So what you could do next is, if I slice this whole sample at onset to a new drum machine, that will then map it out across the keyboard of a drum machine. I really love that snare. Going to turn up the gain on that. Maybe make a 2-bar loop out of that. I'm going to highlight that. Okay, so now I can mute this for a sec. And let's see what we've got across the keyboard here. Okay, that sounds to me like it could be a really brilliant kick. So I'm just going to record that in. Cool. So if we just quantize that now. None of them are on time. There we go. So I'm going to cut there. Duplicate that across, consolidate. Oh, come on. Okay, so let's see what we've got here. So in order to make a kick out of that, all I need to do is shorten the sustain, bring the pitch down maybe 24 semitones, add an envelope that will raise the pitch, maybe 36 semitones, but only a short one. So I'm going to mute that snare for a sec. I might also filter that a bit and add another envelope, and this one will modulate the opening of that filter. Cool. So let's add an EQ after that and boost. Cool. Instantly we've made a cool kick. So let's copy that down to the next channel and we'll add a low tom. So let's find another spot that could be quite good. I'm just gonna cut that there, just so I don't need to. So let's see what we've got. Similar vibe. I'm just going to shorten the sustain. Bring the filter down. Bring up another envelope. Make that all short and stuff. And make that modulate the pitch up. Maybe 24. 24 little semitones. And we'll put that down 12. And we'll duplicate this to another channel. And this one can do the filter. Maybe let's go down 24. We'll put another EQ. So this snare could do with maybe the old onset preview. I'll put a filter on there. Bit of reverb. Okay, let's make a hat now as well. So I'll call this hat, and I will copy across the kick notes and just move them forward about half a beat. That sounds like it could be a good hat. So again, I'm just going to shorten the sustain. This time I'm going to pitch it up 24. I'm going to roll off some of that low end. Cool. Why don't we add another hat? This time we could do some sort of arpeggiated 16th note hat. So we'll find another spot. That sounds like it could be a good 16th note hat. If we put an arpeggiator before that, and we'll do a little bit of the old velocity. So again, we'll just shorten the sustain. Quite cool. Okay, so maybe we could also put a bit of filter on there to change the resonance of it from below. Cool. And we'll add one more sound. I think we'll add some sort of clave. So I'm gonna add in what I would consider to be a clave sound. So we'll do that there and there and there. Again, the old shorten and pitch up. Okay, so that'll do for now in terms of drums. Why don't we group these together and make them all red. And then we'll move on to the next stage, which would be adding some sort of melody. So what we could do is we could go back to this original recording and add a resonator bank. Sorry, that's reactor. Resonator bank. And I'm just going to bring down all of these volumes except for the main C3 I have programmed in. So what this has done is it's taken that and it's made it into a pitchable instrument. Cool, that'll do for now. So I'm just going to bounce that. And then in the meantime, we can also duplicate this across. Actually, no, let's just wait till that's done. So we can now get rid of the original file. And if I make an instrument channel and I drag this on, it's going to bounce the arranger clip again. Cool, almost done, almost done. Okay, I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to call this pad, and I'm going to duplicate it across. I'm going to call it ARP, and I'm going to bounce it down again. I'm going to call that bass. So let's mute the other two for a sec, and let's go into this sound and see what we've got. So as long as I put key tracking on, I should be able to play this across the keyboard. I'll bring the attack up a bit, I'll bring the release up a bit, quite a lot in fact. I'll add some reverb, quite a lot of reverb in fact, and let's see what we got now. Let me bring that attack down a bit. Okay, so I'm just going to record in and hold in a C major 9. Let's see what that happens over the drums. And you'll hear that those little textural things that are quite cool, obviously, because the chord is playing the resonant parts of those sounds. So actually I'm just going to pitch this down an octave. In fact, maybe I'll just pitch down the D, see what that sounds like. No, I'm going to bring that back up again, and I'm going to pitch the C down. See, I'm into that. I kind of like that. I think that's cool. Let's mute that for a sec, and let's go to the second channel, which I've called ARP. And this time I'm going to keep the attack very short, or non-existent, and I just want to be able to make some sort of arpeggiated instance of this. So maybe I'll do a C and a G and a C. And on that one, why don't we also then add steps to control the start point. Make that go up quite a lot. Put that to maybe 24, which is all the way. And let's randomize that and let's see what happens. Don't know what just happened there. Cool, I mean, it's not particularly good, but for the sake of this example, that'll do. Let's just copy that across. So we've got some sort of ARP happening now. And then the final thing, of course, is how you would then create a bass out of that. So let's mute these two again, and let's put key tracking on. I'm just going to go down a couple of octaves on the keyboard. Let's bring up the gain. Let's almost just clip it. That'd be quite good. So why don't we put the speed to -100. Sorry. Let's put an ADSR on there. Have that control the pitch. Make that go up 24. And let's add an EQ to boost some of that bass. Cool, that'll do. So it's very difficult to play with this keyboard because everything goes out of time when I'm recording. I'll just slap that in there. Maybe if I bring these notes back a little bit. Anyways, I think that about explains it without me having to go into too much detail. I'm going to stop the recording now and let's move on to the final technique. And number 3, make everything using just your voice. A microphone and your voice is all you need to create some really pretty cool sounds. Like with the previous technique, limiting yourself so heavily really forces you to use your mind to find ways to make different sounds. Okay, for this last technique, I am going to record a bit of audio in of me just making some weird noises and some sounds. And I won't talk too much just because I think I'm going to get overlay of the microphone. But yeah, let's just give this a go. Boom. Pa. Okay, that should do for now. So let's just go through and see what sounds we can take here. So that looks to me like it could be a good kick. Stretch this out again. We'll put that there and there and there. And we'll move everything else down to another channel. That looks like a good hat. Fuck it. Boom, boom. Okay, and we'll loop that. Boom, 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 in fact, I'm just going to put those guys on their own instrument channel, because now I can make a cool kick out of it. So we'll start that there. Put up the gain a bit. We'll do the same old technique I've been doing all the rest. Boom, 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 boom. Pitch it down 24. See what else we got. I mean, this could easily be a cool pad, so I'll take that, put that on its own instrument channel. Let's detect root key, so it seems to be an E. So why don't we just throw... see what we can do there. Why don't we just loop that on a certain bit that doesn't seem to be quite so abysmally pitched. Dotted half note. This actually sounds pretty better as being a snap. Looks like it could be something quite good. Cool, I mean, you get the idea. I don't need to keep this going on for too long. You could really go quite far out here and make all sorts of other sounds. What's this? I mean, that in itself is a cool bass, so why don't we just slap that there. Make that start on time. Yeah, I mean, you get the idea. Use your voice. Have a wonderful bloody time with that. And that does it for today's video. If you have any unusual creative techniques of your own, leave them in a comment below because I'd love to try them. Remember to like and subscribe if you found this video helpful. Your support makes it all the more fun to keep making these videos. Until next time, happy Sunday and happy creating.